And now, for your listening pleasure, straight out of Milwaukee, the least talked about podcast in Wisconsin, Hip or Critical, with your guides, Alexa MKE and MoKE, Shock the MoKE, MOKE, where we vent or praise on all things that really, in the end, just
Just
don't
don't matter.
matter. All right, what doesn't matter to you today, Alexa?
Um, Actually, it's getting better about the not mattering. There are a few things that do matter, but it
It's
is
starting to
getting,
matter, right?
yeah, it's getting better. So did you happen to catch Justice League?
Yes, we did. I did. I made sure we went and watch. I made Chrissy go through the 4 hour movie that it is.
Oh my God. Yeah. So what was your first impression?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Okay, cool.
I have a great. I think it's there were things that I would flash to in the original movie, knowing that they were missing, saying, I'm glad they're missing. Like the goo that came out was chasing the family that was in the hut that they were saving that little town as the
See, I didn't
black
see the
tourism.
first movie. So,
Oh.
yeah. I didn't
No,
see the Joss Whedon iteration. I only saw the Zack
did
Snyder
you watch the
iteration.
regular one or the black and white as well?
I just watched the regular one.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if you went diving deep, real deep then.
No, I didn't do the Dark Knight, Dark Knight.
All right. So, but you had watched Superman
Versus,
Batman
yeah,
versus Superman,
yeah,
so you
yeah,
knew the lead up and all
yeah,
that, and
yeah.
everything like that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, good. And you enjoyed the film as well.
Not as much as you did. I had a lot of
Your
filmmaking.
pause says a lot.
I had a lot of filmmaking criticisms. I thought that the connection between some of the characters was not really strong. Like in the Marvel universe, they really did build up the connections over time. The best part of the movie was Wonder Woman. She was just so kick ass. Um, Aquaman was just kind of like, okay,
I
yeah,
know
Jason,
it's everything Entourage
yeah,
told me Aquaman was going to be. Even the movie to me is just a joke as I watch it. I I,
yeah.
I can't.
And I
No.
love Jason Momoa because he was
But
great in Game of
hey,
Thrones and some other things, but
yeah,
yeah,
no, no, no. Yeah, I'm a fan. So yeah, it's not that. His commercial is one of the best commercials that was out for the Super Bowl. What, 2 years ago, when he takes off his
his
muscles
his
and his
his muscle
hair, and
suit.
yeah, and he's got a balding head and everything like that, and just relaxes at
Yeah.
home. I mean, he's tongue in cheek about it. I think it's great.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But I had a lot of criticisms about, they could have tightened up the plot. It's supposed to be the director's cut, so it's supposed to be the best cut available. And I didn't feel it was the best movie they could have made it. And I feel like there were certain connections missed, and you know, the iconic imagery in any of Zack Snyder's movies is always stunning. Um, and some of it was really, really good. And then there were other parts that I just went, okay, let's move on now. Let's move on now. And whenever I'm watching a movie and I'm kind of going, let's move on now, I'm not being entertained,
no, you're
and
not.
and
I
you're not
know.
adding value to the movie. And so, and I can't point to those scenes specifically because they were so blasé that it was just kind of like, okay. But I
Uh,
do think somebody could go back and take stuff out of the first one and stuff out of the second one, do the one of those mashup morph movies where they actually make a better movie through editing. So
No, no, no. The first one is everything that the second one is, and the second one has more on it and took out the crap. If you ask
yeah,
me,
yeah. I mean, a lot of
so
people
they've
didn't
already
like the
done
first
that,
one at
and now this
all.
is what it's done. But no, unprecedented in all cases. Bring out a director's cut a couple of years after the first one comes out or whatever.
How long
That's
was it before
unprecedented.
Blade Runner director's cut came out?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It took a long time.
It
I
took a
mean, I
long
swear
time.
it was.
Yeah,
I think it was only like 5 years before the new one came out. One of those
yeah,
things.
yeah. I know.
Or probably, I mean, I think it didn't happen until like an anniversary, probably.
Yeah, yeah. And
Well,
I liked both Blade Runner and the director's cut. I think they gave it different vibe because of the narration and lack thereof. But when you've seen both of them, you kind of like, I guess you already know what's going on. You can,
hmm
yeah. So I think like it may have had a different impression on you for Justice League because you had seen the crappy one. So this one was just so much better.
yes, yes. Actually, that's my take on it. Yes,
Yeah.
but DC and Marvel are two different things. Even though it's the same guy at the helm of the one, when he came back, Zach was the Marvel guy. I think he tried to put some of that stuff in there, but you had some origin stories in there that you're stuffing down there. How can people get meshed when
Right,
there's origin stories
exactly.
going on?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they introduced 3 new characters, boom, or two, whatever, and 2, 3, and so. But okay, I see your next thing, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think
Well,
that's just
I just
starting
want
up
to
now,
point
isn't
out
it?
one
Oh,
thing about
go
the Zack Snyder versus DC versus Marvel. On some of the subreddits on Reddit, they were talking about uh people were more excited to see Tony Stark / Iron Man against Captain America than they were Batman versus Superman. And if you remember when we were growing up, it was always Batman versus Superman. I mean, when you talked about comic books, it was always Batman versus Superman. And people really feel that Marvel did a better job, with the.
I'm the opposite. I was never a DC guy. I've always been a Marvel guy. I mean, I
Really?
swear,
Okay.
yeah, Spider-Man, hit me. You look at all my stuff I've got. I look back at all of it. I was always a Marvel guy.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah. I remember everybody talking about Superman versus
Right. So to me,
Batman.
DC has always been a joke. So, the feelings when these movies come out, it's like it's the second-rate character of everything else
Yeah.
that Marvel did.
Well, and
They're
see,
just
that was the
and
other thing.
this whole thing with the boxes, all it was a Infinity Stones. This is a whole Infinity
Yes.
Stones
See, now
deal
you're
anyway.
getting into some of my criticisms that I felt were just, maybe me. But I mean, I felt like Darkseid was a low rent Thanos.
Yeah, well, it's all the same. There's whatever controlling, but yeah, it is. There's a lot of mirroring going on, but you look at any of those shows and they're all that way. They're even the DC's on the TV. There's infinity planets, and something broke down that made them all one. And somebody's
Yeah.
collecting things, and
Yep.
there's always that. There's in Supernatural, God took away all the extra planets to get to one because again he was going to rewrite everything again. So
Yeah. That is a common
that's
theme.
right. So to poke at that, but it is fun to just go, hey, God, what is this? Well, Infinity Square Stones,
Infinity Emerald Cut Stones.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Geez,
yeah,
but
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Did you watch it?
no, I haven't
Okay.
picked it up yet. No,
All right.
not
Well,
yet.
I won't do any spoilers, but I actually felt it was an order of magnitude better than WandaVision. So I definitely recommend you watch it. I mean, it's clearly a TV based show. It doesn't have a cinematic quality to it, but it definitely is entertaining. It's fun. There's some slow spots. There's some, more action spots. So, I got to give them credit. There's a couple of corny things, but for the most part, I think they're doing the story justice. So I
Oh my
definitely.
gosh, I didn't even get prepared for this because I was in it, but they've got like 20 different, you know, versions of shows coming out slated
I'm
for
so
this
excited
Disney
for
Plus,
Loki in June. I
Yeah,
always thought they
yeah.
should be a Loki movie, and I'm so excited because I love Tom
Yep.
Hiddleston as Loki.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Still, when he was getting beat up by Hulk in Tony's office, that was still one of the best.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's it. I love his character.
Oh.
So getting away from movies and getting into nature, I got myself a Borner Botanical Gardens membership. So our gardens, the Borner Botanical Gardens in Whitnell Park, they have different levels of membership for the friends, and the cool thing about it is, you can get one for individual, plus one for a family. And then there's of course different levels of actual like sponsorship where give them like big money, but it's reciprocal to over 300 other gardens nationwide. So if you really
Sweet. It's like a
love,
park sticker. Yep.
yeah, so if you really love going to gardens or just, you're driving around and like, hey, there's this cool garden. Because I found out there's a cool Japanese garden in Rockford, Illinois, of all places. And so I'm going to go. And of course, there's the Olbrich Gardens in Madison. So I highly recommend people check that out. So if you're a fan of gardens, which Dave probably may or may not be.
Oh, it's walking. Well, it's walking. It's
Yeah.
nature. Yeah.
Well,
I'm down with that.
and the cool thing about gardens is they change for every season. So when you go in the
Right.
spring, it's going to be
Right.
different than the
Seasonal
summer.
stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Different
kinda
colors,
cool.
different smells.
Yeah, and Formula One started last weekend, but I did watch Drive to Survive on Netflix, which was about last season.
Right.
And if you're not a Formula One fan, I encourage you to watch it. If you are a Formula One fan, you're going to be disappointed. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, so.
So not for the real fan, but for the peripheral fan.
Yeah, well, if you want to learn a little bit about the ins and outs of Formula One,
Right.
it's really good for that. The past two seasons seem to be better. They really skipped over a lot of really important points, including the fact that Lewis Hamilton became seven-time world champion last year.
Right.
He also was knighted, became Sir Lewis Hamilton because he's British. And then they kind of skipped over some COVID stuff, some stuff about some of the drivers who were
Does he
coming
get
and
to
going.
wave a sword out the window when he's doing the lap now? Does he get to have like an Excalibur?
He has not been knighted with his sword yet. I guess he hasn't done the
Oh,
whole formal ceremony, but yeah,
well, then
so
he's not yet.
he's
Sir Alec
not yet.
Guinness, Sean Connery.
So you were watching Dead Don't Die?
Yeah, I watched a little things, but this is the one that struck out at me is to talk about this time. It was a new zombie movie that was out. Bill Murray's in it. Kylo Ren is in it.
Oh, that's probably awesome. Did you
Yeah,
enjoy it?
I think I have to watch it again because I mean, I love confusing movies, but this one must have had some stuff that went by me on it because it, it it's a fourth wall breaking movie kind of.
Okay.
So there's sometimes it's like he says, yeah, and it's whatever, blah blah blah, and he tells him, he goes, it's going to end up really bad, and he goes today, he goes, well, you keep saying that, why do you say that? Bill Murray looks at Kylo, and then he goes, well, I read the script. What? Yeah, I read the script. And then Bill's like, well, they didn't give me the whole script. They only gave me my lines.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. So there's some very odd things in it, that I find great, but again, like I said, they're even confusing to me. And I got into Legion, of course. That took a couple times to watch too, that, as well as like Mr. Robot sometimes, so it's an interesting film. I will give it that. I certainly wouldn't tell anybody not to watch it, because like I said, it's something that certainly needs discussion, kind of like Donnie Darko, you know.
I
You watch
love
that
Donnie
movie.
Darko. That's a fun movie. Jake Gyllenhaal's amazing in that.
So, um, and then, so yeah, give that a shot. This other thing I just thought was in news that I thought was hilarious because it just got me on for my stand-up act. You know, women women wins lottery on her 20th anniversary. I'm
And
really thinking
and Dave coughs on camera.
yeah, no, but I really think that the title of that should be woman wins lottery on her 20th and last anniversary.
Oh, geez, you are a cynic. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
20 years in. Oh yeah, we're
All
out of here.
right. Well, we're gonna move on with some bubbles. How's that? Come on. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna start this one off. So for Internet Adventures, so Representative Jamal Bowman, Democrat of New York, is to introduce a bill to classify the internet as a utility. It would require HUD and other departments to include broadband as a utility, so it could be subsidized for households, especially households that are below whatever the poverty level is now, which is too low.
Most of us.
Yeah, most of us. Well, not me, but I will, whatever. But this could include build out also for broadband infrastructure to more homes, underserved and unserved areas. My buddy Barnacle Bill in Kentucky, I think he finally got actual DSL, which is like old school broadband,
Right.
5 years ago. Like seriously, he's out in the middle of nowhere, and he was using satellite, and it was awful. He couldn't even. He'd tell people, "Don't send me pictures."
Yeah. No. Here we worked at the place we worked,
Mm-hmm.
and we were trying to sell internet. That was based
Subpar.
on satellite, and what's the first question you got to ask? Are you gonna try to do some streaming? Do you want to watch movies and stuff?
Are you
Yeah,
gonna
we
be
want to watch
gaming?
movies and all that. We got Netflix. Well,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have. And then those people that came out from the city and just, you can't explain to them. What do you mean there's not? It's like they didn't even check that out before they moved out to the country. It's like, well, what
Yeah.
do you mean there isn't internet here? What
Yeah.
what are we supposed to do? How are the kids supposed to watch their games? How are they supposed, you know, I have no idea, ma'am. You're asking a guy sitting behind a phone in a different state,
Yeah, well, and with now, with what happened with the pandemic and a lot of people doing Zoom meetings, so it's imperative for work, for school, for kids who are doing virtual learning, and so, we are finding that it is a telecommunication. It is an actual utility. People
Yeah.
use it like a utility. I mean, I just put it into part of my monthly bills, and you really need it. I mean, it's something that people really need. So I hope that this goes somewhere. So,
Yeah.
and
No,
speaking
that's
of
good.
things that you don't need to do, you don't need to be perusing Reddit, but Reddit had hired a controversial figure, Amy Knight. And who Amy Knight is she was a transgender Green Party volunteer in the UK. And it turns out her father was a pedophile. He was convicted and, had a 22-year sentence. She then hired him as somebody for the campaigns in the UK. And he was in a position where he had cameras and contact with children. And her husband is also had problems with pedophilia. He hadn't been convicted, but there was some other, accusations and whatnot. And so Reddit had this woman who, just
Seems indifferent to this.
yeah, it was kind of like, so they ended up, there was so much backlash, they ended up letting her go. But it's kind of like, at what point in the interview process, and she was a public figure in the UK. This wasn't like whatever. And it's like, at what point in the process do you just like, instead of trying to cover it up for 2 months, which is what they did, do you finally say, hey, we just got to cut bait? I mean, it shouldn't take an entire...
But this is a place that should know any kind of conspiracy or things, because these are the guys that uncover this stuff and talk about it first on Reddit.
Exactly. And so that's what happened. And then a bunch of Reddit sites went private and dark, and subreddits, I should say. And it's like, yeah, it's like, come on. I mean, figure it out. I mean, you want to have an IPO. They're looking to have an IPO, which is an initial public offering, for becoming, on, traded in stock market. And if you're going to do that, then you better make sure your ducks are in a row and things are clean, because people are looking at you. Yeah. So I don't know.
But I also don't agree with the Vogue girl that was pushed out of her job off of whatever she said when she was 14 or 15. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think there has to be almost like a like a statute of limitations, because even with Louis C.K., the issue that happened with those two women, where he asked them, oh, can I can I touch myself in front of you? And they said, oh, sure, because he wasn't the big powerful Louis C.K. at the time. He was just a up and coming comic, and that was just, and I mean, if you ever watched his shows, that's all he talks about. So
and Louis, the TV show is great. Oh my gosh.
And he is a funny guy, but I mean, at some point, and he owned it and he apologized. And so at that point, you have to say, okay.
Well, again, the as we talked about, teaching moments.
Yeah.
It's teaching moments.
Yeah. And you have to grow as a human being. And, some people do and some people don't. So I guess, it is what it is. So, growing as a human being, don't get your information from Facebook, because so 12 accounts from Facebook and Twitter are responsible for most of the anti-vax information on online and on social media. On Facebook alone, the content from these individuals, which reports, what did I put? There's the disinformation dozen, and they named all these people in the article from Mashable. Counts for 73% of the anti-vax content posted or shared on that platform alone in the last 2 months. So think about that. I mean, that's crazy.
That's pushing it, yeah.
You've got this very small group of people influencing
But
great
that's how
numbers
easy.
of
That's
people.
why it's so easy for foreign actors to jump on it because
Yeah.
we nibble it and whoop, we're off with it. You know.
Right? Yeah, it's just crazy. And so, people have to be really careful when you're on social media. If you read something, even in the comment section that people say, don't take it at face value, especially on Facebook where you're not getting, information from doctors. You're getting it's shared from, your second cousin, who lives in Georgia, who got it from their second cousin, who lives in Florida, who got it from their second cousin, who lives in Mississippi. You're getting bad information because people like clickbait. They like to have this
Yeah.
sensationalism and, to be able to share that because, hey,
Did you hear this?
yeah, exactly. So, knock it off, actually look for a source, look for something on AP or Reuters or, when it comes to medical or science, look for actual research papers so that you can kind of read the research papers and become, savvy. You don't have to be a PhD, but at least, be able to be educated. So that's my 2 cents. So, I know you've been checking out those Suez Canal memes.
Oh, they finally got it free. What, yesterday? I think they
Yeah.
finally got it free.
Yeah.
One of the things that was on the conspiracy theory was like the name of the boat had something to do with Hillary Clinton, and there were actually some of the kids that they're smuggling for their pedophile blood ring, are
Oh, did
in
you get
those
that on
crates.
Facebook?
I don't know. Some guy was listening to something and he told me that's what they said. But I
Oh
love the
my
memes of this
God.
Suez
That's
Canal thing.
QAnon shit.
Yeah, I love the meme though that had this big boat, and here you just see this normally would be a large front end crane digging it, backhoe, but just like just barely scratching in front of this big boat. You could see this little thing that didn't even look like a Tonka truck just sitting next to it. The boat was so big. And
The,
then I did
the,
see a great meme.
yeah. No, there was an engineer on Reddit who actually talked about why it was so difficult to get it out. And basically they said you can't just pull it out of the muck because it would have taken 33,000 tons. He did the math on
Of
how.
pressure,
Yeah, and so he
yeah,
said
horsepower or whatever.
the
Yeah.
the largest boat to do that can do 420 tons. So it's like you would have needed like how many of those boats?
Uh, And then
So
and then I saw another great meme which was puts it in perspective on how big these things are these days, is that it had the Enterprise above it, and the Enterprise is three-quarters of the size of this boat.
yeah, right.
The
And then
original Star Trek Enterprise.
did you see the thing where you could actually like it was kind of like a Google Earth thing where you could actually put the boat wherever you wanted?
No,
Yeah,
that's good. Like Bernie Sanders did with the mittens and
yeah,
everything.
kind
This
of.
mitten thing, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you
Where's
could actually
Bernie?
put the boat where you wanted. So I mean, people were on the Milwaukee subreddit. They had it like in the Milwaukee River.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, they're pretty
All
funny.
right.
All
All right.
right.
And then I had, you know how when you're on Facebook,
Oh,
you,
okay.
you
Yeah, one
have
more thing.
these nuisance ads and you click them and, to try to make sure they don't show up on your Facebook. They're just going to give you a different ad, but, at least you won't see that one. And I just love the things that you get to choose from why you don't like this ad. And the one I had to double click because one was a give to Trump and My Pillow. There's Mike Lindell was doing a thing with Trump and a pillow give, thing, save our company, and then there was a Mike Lindell on his own My Pillow, and so the first time I clicked it, I don't want to see this ad anymore, and he goes, why? And I said, because it's got Trump in it. I said, it's irrelevant,
Irrelevant. Yeah.
irrelevant. And then the next time it came up, it said, I wanted the one where it said it's offensive to me, but that's I put sensitive topic.
Yeah. What
Mike in a
Pinterest
My
does the same
Pillow.
thing. So I always try to click off all the ads on Pinterest because, whatever. But it's like I'm vegan and it's just really funny when all of a sudden I get like it's not necessarily a meat ad, but it'll be an ad from like, say a company, even like Hellman's mayonnaise, and then you're hey, use this, to baste your chicken. It's like I don't eat chicken. It's irrelevant. So yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so let's go to more bubbles. Is this critical? So, I want to do my little rant. Speaking of Pinterest, so I'm gonna do my little mini rant. So do you ever look up recipes or anything?
Well, yeah, we were talking about the how you have to go through the whole thing before you get
Yeah.
to the recipe thing,
Yeah.
and there was a new site now that's going to just do that. But they
Yeah.
come back with you can just hit the button. It says go right to recipe.
Yeah, jump to the recipe. So anyway, again, I'm vegan. So but I'm healthy. I try to eat whole foods. So
Right.
I'll look for these healthy recipes. Okay, coconut oil is not healthy. Don't sit there and go, "Oh, it's a healthy recipe," when all you're adding is like, you know, I don't know, peanut butter, coconut oil, and whatever else you're doing to make your oats to make your granola bar.
Polysaturates it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, coconut oil is nothing but saturated fat. Saturated fat clogs your arteries. It causes arteriosclerosis and causes your cholesterol to go up. So don't sit there and tell me that a coconut oil is healthy, because it's not. It is solid
Just
at
seems
room
like because everybody likes
temperature.
almond and it's coconut.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, if you're going to use an oil, just use a little bit, and use a little bit of olive oil or some other, healthy veg oil, sunflower oil. But I'm so tired of it. So I just had to rant.
Well, you're finding the non-healthy healthy things out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of
Keeping
things
us
are,
keeping us.
are
You
touted
keep a
as
watch
healthy.
on that. You
Yeah.
guard that tower.
Yeah, I will.
Speaking of things that aren't good for you, I had these out just to show. We got some Twizzlers. They're Hershey's chocolate Twizzlers.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And that's just it. I mean, it's like you're like, well, it's still chocolate. How bad can it be? But it's just that mind screw. You know what I mean? Where you're chewing and you're biting and you're like, no, chocolate and licorice is just not going together very well.
Yeah. Yeah, right? It's like, ugh. Well, I'm glad you shared that with us, Dave. Anyway, so anybody who does want to be healthy, if you want to get vaccinated, starting April 5th, anybody 16 and older can get vaccinated in the state of Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yes.
So I know.
Well, and I forgot where I put it in there, but yes, I'm getting mine.
Okay. So if you do want to get poked, you can get free shit. Free Krispy Kreme donut, which is super healthy, by the way. I don't think they use coconut oil, so it must be healthy. Free Krispy Kreme donut per day through 2021 if you show them your card, once you have both your doses. Up Down Arcade in Milwaukee is offering 20 free tokens. They're a gaming bar, so
Yes, I
that's
like
kind of
that
cool.
place.
Free beer from Black Husky Brewing. Go to their website. You can find out what that's all about. You can get a free shot from the Iron Horse Hotel. So if you come in with your card, they'll give you a free shot. And the Shawarma House is offering
I like
15%
Shawarma
off.
House.
Yeah, Shawarma House is good. So there
Chris
you
really
go.
likes the baba ganoush. I just like saying the word
Oh, baba ganoush. Baba ganoush is really
baba
good. I've
ganoush.
actually made it. I got a really good baba ganoush recipe. So, and then
Oh, I
also
have to get with Chrissy and you guys can talk about it.
we can talk about our baba ganoush. We'll have to go to Green Owl, and then she can get the Mediterranean plate. It's got baba ganoush, hummus, and I'm trying to think of the third one that they have on there. And then they serve it with pita chips and some pickled veg and some fresh
Yeah, it's
veg.
right up her alley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's really good.
Sure, yeah. So you get poked now, so you get saved from the coronavirus, but Krispy Kreme's going to give you diabetes. That's
Yeah, there
great.
you go. Or you could become an alcoholic, one or the other.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
But many employers are offering incentives if you get jabs. Some are offering cash. Some are offering days off. My company that I work for, you have your choice between a day off or 8 hours of pay. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And my manager's not going to get it.
He's not going to get it at all.
No, because here it is. I got mine. I got mine, of course, for April 1st at 4:20. So what a
Did
great
you
time.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great time for me to get mine. So my first jab's coming up on Thursday. We were talking with my manager, and he goes, "No, I'm not going to get it. 1,000 people died, from getting that. 1,000 people died." He goes, "That vaccine. I talked to doctors, meaning the doctors at his church, I'm sure.
Oh, he's one
and
of
they, and
those.
they
Okay.
yeah, and they all said, well, that's got to take 10, 15 years before it should be run through, and you shouldn't be putting it out to the public
Well, it's
now.
only
You
been
never
in
know what
it's
it's going
only
to do.
been in research since the 70s, so I think it's
So, and then he's like, yeah, I don't do the flu shot or nothing. And I just wanted to look at him and go, okay, so now your argument is invalid because the flu shot's been around for many, many years and has had much testing, and you're not even getting that. So don't tell me it's because it hasn't been tested, because the fact that you're not getting the flu shot tells me everything I need to know.
well, so you know what it is? They're not brave. Just start calling them pussies. Oh, you just don't want a needle. You're a pussy. And
Yeah.
this is the biggest pussy on the planet.
Coward.
I hate needles so much, it's not funny. I hate needles so much that I vomit and take a nap.
Right, exactly, 6 times. Well, but it's just funny. It's like there's not enough deaths or people that get COVID to make it worthwhile. All right, right? There's
Really,
a 1%.
500,000 and counting
That's what I'm
isn't
saying.
enough?
You know what I mean? This side of that, people, those people who are those naysayers. There's not enough people that get sick from it, but there's enough people that die from the vaccine at 1,000. For 126 million doses, they've counted 1,000 or 2,000 are up to now out of 126 million doses. So 0.0018%. That's not a tenth of percent. That's 100%.
Well, and the
Of
thing
what
is if you
percent?
read the research, some of those deaths are not even sure from the vaccine
They're
or
car crashes. They're
if
just marking them all now.
yeah,
They're just marking them all. If you
it
die within
depends.
120 days of getting the vaccine, they're going to mark you down, period. And then they'll sort it out later.
Yeah.
But not one has been attributed to the vaccine so far.
Yeah.
That's what they said. No one can say it's because of that. But that's that whole dumb logic again. That no, it's not. There's not enough people are catching COVID. I don't have to worry about it.
Not
Big
enough people are
percent of people.
catching COVID.
Yeah, or getting it right, or getting it. I mean, that's why they don't care. It's not around. It's a false thing. But there's even less people that are dying from the vaccine. So, which is the big number here, folks?
Yeah, those people, again, they have cognitive dissonance. It's a hell of a drug. A lot of them are the same ones who voted for a certain Republican candidate who I'm tired of talking about. And, you're not helping anybody.
We haven't done a fuck Ron Johnson yet. Okay.
Oh, we haven't done a fuck Ron Johnson. Okay, fuck Ron Johnson. And justice for buttons. But yeah.
All right. Hey, yes, your Jelly Belly thing. This is great.
Yeah. So remember Jelly Belly, they left the state and I think they moved their headquarters. But we have Haribo coming in to Pleasant Prairie in September. They're going to break ground. And so we're going to have gummy bears, which are better than Jelly Bellies anyway.
The Foxconn building that they built, right?
I don't think so. I think that's going to remain empty. We won't talk about that. Fuck Scott Walker. So speaking of 420, the Milwaukee Common Council has legalized pot possession up to, it's not quite an ounce, it's just under an ounce. They have reduced the fine to
you got to
$1.
smoke 3 grams of your bag right away. Eat it. Just take 3 grams.
Whatever. Just make edibles out of it. Hey, look who's
Yeah,
back.
then you're okay. Hey,
Hi,
Lito.
handsome. Oh, my goodness. We've been visited by the Lito. Ah!
Yeah, they can still, court costs will still be 140 if they push it and everything, give you the ticket. But yeah, it's, it's certainly the step in the right direction.
Right. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. So what do you got on here?
Well, the big thing talk about Georgia, and the voter suppression thing and the whole, shouldn't give water to people in line where the biggest lines are in.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You're not going to let them give them food and water?
Right. But this is, again, you can have it 150 feet away. They can walk to it. They got to get out of line. Same thing, you've got to go to the bathroom. But, so that's not the thing. Everybody wants to make that's the deal. It's not the deal.
No.
The law also allows state authorities to intervene in county election offices and remove local officials.
That to me is absolutely.
My gosh. that's totalitarianism. I mean, that's just like we don't like what you said, we're going to get rid of you.
Yeah.
He tried to do that. We don't have something in place that let him do that. Now we're going to let him have something in place to get rid of a guy that was only doing the right thing, so
Well,
he could do the wrong thing.
is Georgia's
Uh,
governor Republican or Democrat? I think they have a Republican governor, right?
yes.
Yeah, so it's going to go through, but it's going to get challenged by the courts. They'll nobody's just going to let this stand. We're not just going to stand by. It's it will get challenged in the courts. Let's just hope that you have judges who are being looking at the constitutionality of this, not just the partisanship part of it.
Right now, they're suppressing a lot of the mail-ins and the time that you can do it, and whatever. That's the
Yeah.
way you got to win, man.
Yeah, well, they got to cheat to win.
Yeah, you
So
don't have a good enough platform. You only really have 30% of the people out there. The other of the 50% you have, 30% is your base that still believe the Earth is flat, and the other 20% are all the
and that there's a
God-fearing
second
people that have to
coming.
stay with you.
Yeah.
That have to stay with you because you're anti-abortion. So that's what you've got. You've got rich people that they're
Yeah, and they
taking money,
use those
and
wedge
people
issues very effectively.
oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, we just have to. All that
I
irritates
don't
me.
know if I'm coming out of a pandemic buying pattern. I got two bags that just were delivered today to my door.
Yeah, yeah, it was weird. I was thinking about it the other day because we had Whole Foods deliver. We have Whole Foods deliver because we do eat a lot of produce anyway. So we have Whole Foods deliver pretty regularly. But then I was noticing my cupboards are not as full as they used to be, and I think I'm actually coming out of the pandemic buying pattern where it's like I don't
Oh,
want to
buying
go into
two
the
every time or
store.
three. Yeah, right,
Yeah, and
right,
so it's like
right,
I'm not
right.
stocking up as much, and
You can jump in a week, once a week or whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
good.
So I think
Yeah.
I'm coming out of that, and I think once I've got my second vaccine, and Roger and I are both, towards the end of April, I honestly think I'm going to start coming out of that a little bit. So I mean, how do you feel about that? With the
Unfortunately, I've been going to stores through the whole time. I've been going to Home Depot and
yeah for your
Menards, and you
job.
know what I mean, for my job. So, and shopping at Walmart. That's on my way home, and Pick and Save. So those are pretty heavily used.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not the Piggly Wiggly. So but here's the thing: nowhere was there ever an outbreak at a big box store. That they ever pointed
No,
to it and said, that
no.
never happened. So whatever they wanted to do for emplacement, worked. As far as I'm concerned, because no one ever said there's a big problem with a big box store.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of stores that did a really good job. I got to give Woodman's a lot of credit. I've got to give Walmart and Menards a lot of credit because those were places where we'd shop and even Target. I didn't like going into Target as much because the aisles are a little tighter there, and people were not as because I was going to the New Berlin Target and they were just not as accommodating as like keeping their distance. But other than that, it wasn't the store's problem. It was more the customers. But I think we're gonna start coming out of these weird buying patterns and there say hi Lito. um
Yeah,
and
toilet
all
paper's
that
on the
other stuff.
shelf.
Yeah, so yeah, there is toilet paper on the shelf. So yeah, so what do you have to have a moment about today, MoKE?
Are you doing bubbles first?
What was that? Yes, we did the
Are you
bubbles.
doing
You
bubbles?
had your
All right.
bubbles. We had MoKE's
I
bubbles.
did. All right. Well, the first thing is that Julie Pomagalaski, a former Olympic snowboarder, but this is when they talk about
Pomagalski.
she just passed away from she was skiing, snowboarding, what have you, and an avalanche hit. So her and her friends, her and a couple people passed as a result of snowboarding.
So yeah, so an
My thing
avalanche.
about this is that this is one of those things where I'll bet there's somebody out there right now who's saying, well, she died doing what she loved, you
Oh my
know?
God, we would hear that with racing, and we'll go into that. So I'm gonna let you.
And and I'm just thinking to myself, like, the realization to me is, okay, first of all, I don't know that can be true. how often that can be true. I'm sure there are some ways that is, because dying in your sleep is about the only thing you ever want to do. But other than that, so to me, actually, her favorite thing disowned her. It gave her up. It rejected her. It you know what I mean? It betrayed her actually. Her
That's
scheme
an
and her
interesting.
love.
That's an
You
interesting
know,
thought. Yeah.
she was betrayed by this one thing at 40 years old. That she, so no, I don't. If anybody says do that, I really want to think about, you know, how they died. Okay, they were fishing. They loved what they were doing when they fell out of the boat and drowned. But the drowning part, I'm sure they didn't love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and,
Yeah. I'm
and
sure
again,
suffocating in an
fishing.
avalanche is no fun.
Right, and drowning when you're out there trying to fish, that's no way to die. No one's gonna like that. Again, you're betrayed by what your fun. So
Well, and to that point, I again motorcycle racing. I love racing. And when we were part of racing, I was part of what was called the Wegman Benefit Fund, and later on it was called the Red Flag Fund. And what we did is we helped racers. We raised money to help them with things that insurance wouldn't cover. Like if their loved one wanted to come see them in the hospital, we would pay for the hotel bill. Because obviously insurance isn't going to cover that. If they were laid up for long term, sometimes we'd help them with utility bills, or if they had a mortgage payment or a rent payment. It wasn't a big fund, but there were people who died, and so we would always give to the
right,
memorial fund.
memorial.
But at no time did anybody say they died what they loved doing, and all of these people loved racing. So your point about, yeah, they didn't die doing what they loved, they died because they loved it.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
right.
so
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
exactly.
you know
Second thing is dirt pile. We got a dirt pile outside out by our units, and then that we've used to fill in stuff, and we put a tarp over it to make it nice and everything, so it doesn't get rained on and compacted and all that other stuff. Well, again, over the weekends, it's a hill of dirt. What happens on the weekends when there's kids in the area? I'd be jumping it. You know what I mean? I'd be taking my bike over it. So every time we come back on Monday, it's uncovered. Now, geez, this is the one thing kids do not you do not instill enough quick enough into kids, because first of all, we've told the parents to tell the kids not to go on the pile, right? So one of two things: either the parents not getting it across to the kid how important it is not to do that, or the kids not listening. Okay, one of the two things. So my thought was that next time I catch it, now this last time when they did it, it was after it was wet, so it really got back down. But I have shoe prints in there, and I put the tarp back on, and I told my manager, "Hey, we've got evidence of shoe prints now. So if we want to play Cinderella and find the kids that were on the pile, we can." You know.
Show us your
But what I
shoes.
want to do is go up to the kids and go, "Listen, I want to help you out, kid. Unfortunately, your parents haven't told you how important it is not to go on this pile. They're not doing their job to parent you. So I'm going to let you parent your children, your kid, your family, your mom and dad. I'm going to let you be the parent. And I'm going to tell you this is a message you need to bring to them. If your kid ever goes on our pile again, we're going to kick you out of the apartment. Okay? Why don't you go back and tell your parents that? We'll kick you out of the apartment if you go on the pile again.
Are you
That way
talking
you
about
can
doing
be the
this, or have
parent.
you actually done it?
No, I haven't done it. That's what I want to do. You know, I want parents to go, "What do you tell my kid
Dave
that?"
is
Well, you're going
totally
to
the
kick us out.
cranky old.
Because you're not doing it. Because you're not being a parent. That's why I'm doing it. Because I need a reaction out of you because you haven't given one yet.
Dave's being the
Not to the
cranky old,
kid,
the
not to
cranky
us.
old apartment
Yeah,
maintenance guy.
yeah, shaking my fist on it. Get off my pile of dirt, kids.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
And again, like anything, I could care less, and I would probably be the first one to play on it in the weekends too. Even at my age, I'd probably, if I saw a kid with a bike and they were taking sweet jumps, let's go. Let me get your bike, buddy. Let me see how far I can go.
Great.
I'd be right there with them. But once you're told, you've got to listen. That's all there's to. But here's the thing: if kids, you just instill this into your children, that if you're going to do something you shouldn't be doing, put back the thing that looked like you never touched it. If you
Exactly.
put that tarp back over, put the bricks back where they are, I don't know anything happened. No, you can't grill out in front of your apartment complex. But if I never see the grill out front there, I don't know that you did that. Be smart, people.
Well, they're not
Put
smart.
it back.
That's
Well,
like
that's
criminals aren't too
it.
smart either. So there
That's
you go.
kindergarten stuff. Put it back when you're done, the way you found it. Put it back the way you found it.
You know what you could do is you could put a note on everybody's door and saying, "To whom it may concern, if your children are playing on the dirt pile, we want you to know that there's actually broken glass in there, and the apartment complex will not be responsible if your child is injured."
Yeah, I'm going to put broken glass in. I'm going to be putting broken glass in there,
and
right?
and rusty nails.
There's there's a
And
couple
used
of
heroin.
claymores in there now.
No,
You
no,
know,
used heroin needles. I think would be a
yeah,
good one.
yeah, yes, AIDS and heroin and heroin needles and
Yeah.
used
Hepatitis, yay.
COVID
Meningitis,
19
yay.
needles. Just we're gonna just put needles out there. Yeah,
I mean, come on,
that's
right?
great. That's excellent.
Oh
Yes.
my God. All right, you have more to rant about, or
Yeah. Okay. So no, the next one's a nice thing. All
okay.
right. Because nobody knows I did this. I have to tell everybody I did this.
Oh, Dave's
So
got to pat his back. Dave's gonna pat
yeah,
his own back. Look,
yeah.
look at
Say
him break his arm, patting his back.
how great of a person I am. So I'm gonna.
After being mean maintenance, Dave.
But I'm good to good people. This is where I'm getting to.
Okay.
Is that
So we're
good
going
to
from mean MoKE to marvelous MoKE.
yes, right. That's why my tattoo is a yin yang. So every rose has its thorn, right?
Oh, jeez.
So,
I hate that
so,
song.
so as I'm getting my fast food, it was 10 and I don't know, something and something. So I put a 10 out there knowing I'd get 5 back because it was $6 or whatever. Well, as she's grabbing the thing, that the I look the other way. She's pulling the little tray that you put the $10 in, and I look back all of a sudden, and she's looking at the tray and it's empty, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did the wind take the $10 bill? And she goes, yes. the lady behind at the drive-through, and at the window, and I went, oh man. And so I went like, well, do you see it anywhere? And she's looking out and she goes, no, I don't see it. And then I said, well, I'm going to pull forward. And just as I'm starting to pull forward, the lady behind me comes running up and says, hey, I saw your $10 fly out. I got it. And I'm like, oh my
Ah,
gosh,
that's really nice.
fantastic. Fantastic. So gave her the $10. Lady went back in there. She comes up with the change. And I said, put that towards her order.
Ah, okay. That's
I
cool.
did a little pay it forward kind of thing. You know
Nice.
what I mean? I just said, hey, whatever that $4, just put it on her order, and then you just go away, So I would, hey, got the $10, wouldn't have, right? Probably. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it could have cost you $10 to just
it
yeah.
it only cost me 4. I got the 6 back. So
So wait,
that's a
Dave's
win,
counting
right?
money now. That's
I
funny.
made money on the deal.
You did.
um, the dog is that I was working at one of my places and we have a no dog policy now. People have been able to get grandfathered, and of course, sneeze, and it's a therapy pet from whoever can write a
Yeah.
a script on it.
Well, you could probably go online and get
dogs
one.
show up now, and I saw a dog, and I asked my manager, "Hey, is blah 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 supposed to have a dog?" No. All right. So, and people do that. It's like they sneak them in. They just sneak in dogs. Like that this costs extra
And you're
money.
not going to notice, are you?
And
Because they're small and
they don't. Right. Well,
they don't poop everywhere.
hence the thing. And I had heard that there was a dog around because one of the other guys that just left a month ago had said there might be one because he found poop by him, which is the only grass side on his side. So anyway, so I have to go in and fix a screen in this woman's place, and I go in, and I go, oh, I got that screen, and she goes, oh, great, she's just coming home, and I catch her, and he goes, well, let me just get the dog in the cage, and I went, oh, and it's like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, a dog, I got a dog in here, huh? She goes, yeah, I said, he's still rambunctious, he's still young, and everything like that. Oh, so now I know it's not an old dog, it's a puppy, more or less.
Great.
So it's only been there for a little while, so So I just fixed the screen, and like I said, I get the manager supposed to have a dog, no, and so he calls her right away, and ring ring, and he goes, hello, hello, yeah, this is, and then all of a sudden, as soon as my manager started to talk in the background,
She's not hiding this thing at all, is she?
he goes, is that a dog in the background? Because that's what I was actually calling you on. Dogs aren't allowed, and there's just this pregnant pause, and then, well, it's not a dog, it's a puppy.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my
Just like
God.
the guy with the incense in the hallway, and I'm saying there's no smoking in the hallway. That's not smoking. Yeah, that's what incense is smoke. You son of a. So
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that's what people do. It's just, oh, I didn't know. What do you mean you didn't know? Is this your first time in an apartment? Because maybe I can give you a little lax if you've never been in an apartment before. You've had pets all your life in your own home. But if you've ever been in an apartment before, you know that you just don't get to bring in a dog. Especially when it says no dogs in your lease. So
My favorite one was I lived in a duplex up down, and we asked our landlord if we could get a cat, and he said, "Well, sure." And I said, "Okay, cool." Well, his son lived downstairs, and they had a dog. So, I had a cat, they had a dog. But his son was completely superstitious. So he would come in the front door and go out the back door. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but you can't go in, you can't go out the same door you come in or something. It's like, it's a weird superstition. Well, his son ended up buying the property from his father. And we had lived there for 2 years. And all of a sudden, we had to leave because no pets allowed. Now, they still had their dog, but no pets allowed. Now, this is a duplex up down. You know why he wanted us to leave? My
why?
cat was black.
Ah,
So he wanted
sure.
us to move out because he was afraid
Black
of the
cat
black cat.
crossing a black cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that one was classic.
Well, when somebody says something like, "Well, it's not a dog, it's a puppy," oh, so you're only keeping it for 1 year, and then when the year is up and it's a dog, then you're getting rid of it. Is that what I'm to understand?
Oh my God. I
You're,
mean,
you're
little dogs become
childish.
big dogs. My neighbor got that golden retriever at the end of last summer. That thing is full size dog. It's not even a year old.
Yeah,
So,
6 to 8 months is all you need
yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah. I know
on
Bronte
some of
went
them.
from, being this cute little, I brought home this cute little 12-pound puppy, which, 12 pounds is pretty big for a dog. And, by the time she was 8 months, I think she was 60 pounds and she was 75 pounds full grown. So, they go
Wow.
from to
Yes.
really quick.
Oh, art.
Oh,
This is
yes.
actually this is actually my art. That's a picture of me
Aw,
here, from high school, and
cool.
then actually in the corners are my daughter's versions of what they did that in their school in their age.
Oh,
It's
cool.
the art class where you do like a black and white photo, and then you mark it up into squares
Mm-hmm.
so that when you can transfer it onto a silk screen, you transfer each
Yeah.
color or dark or shade on the square,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Yeah, 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 and then make the silk screen. So those were a bunch of silk screen pictures I had made from mine, and the other two were just their templates that they started with that I scammed. When they got them home, I stole them and put them up by mine. Because you'll never see it. You can't. Kids aren't going to give it to you. You know what I mean?
No, it's
Once they're
super
done
cool
doing
though.
mac, once they're done making macaroni stuff, they don't show you their art. You know what I mean?
Macaroni art. The South Park episode with that is classic. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you see the COVID one?
I did
The
not. I haven't watched a lot of South Park lately. I have been watching a lot of TV.
There's
So
like the movie version, the COVID special, yeah, that they did. It's kind of
oh
fun.
cool. That'd be fun. I should look that up. So yeah, what do we got? We have hip happenings, hip happenings. Dave had all the hip happenings this time
Yeah,
because
stuff I
I've
saw
been
first.
I've been lazy and falling down on that.
That's all right. Um, Finding some unique things out there. There is at Friday. There's a fairy tale tea.
And Dave's going dressed as a pretty princess because we all know Dave's
I
a
I would
pretty
love to.
princess.
I dress up a woman all the time. So as strange as that sounds, but yeah, I mean, I would think the costume that I again, Harry Potter. Hagrid's actually shorter than Maxine is, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you know Harry Potter at all? No?
Yeah, I know Harry Potter.
Okay. But when they're dancing, they're at the dance, Hagrid is shorter than Maxine, his date, the girl with the black
Okay.
hair that came from that place. So when Christy and I actually have a Hagrid and I'm Maxine and she's Hagrid,
Oh,
you
okay.
know.
That's
So when we
funny.
walk, yeah, yeah, we haven't been able to wear it yet though. We've got it all set and ready to go, but we haven't. And I thought, well, this would be a good place to do it
There you
because we
go.
both are dressing up, and everything like that. But I did like. I mean, it's expensive. Don't get me wrong. It's not just a free little thing, but some of the things that they have on there: lemon quail, egg mousse, marble rye, caviar, Scottish smoked salmon, rolaldi.
Are you talking about remoulade?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, probably remoulade.
And dill cream, citrus fresh, mini scones. I mean, it did have those kind of like, woo, let them eat cake,
It's like high tea with the queen.
Exactly. Oh, you're not amused.
Oh my goodness. All right,
And
you
then,
got other things here.
Yep, Saturday. There's actually a little art walk you can do at for St. Kate at the Arts Hotel, which is actually a boutique hotel.
Yeah, yeah, I heard they opened and people are really enjoying that.
Yeah, so again, that's one of those, hey, get away, escape to your own town kind of thing. I think
A
is a good thing on that.
staycation.
Vacation is a good place for that. And the opening day.
Woohoo!
Go
Dave's
Brewers.
got show your Brewers shirt again. I was on me. There you go.
My hat, my Pap, the old hat. Got the
Oh
old
my God,
logos
that's a
going.
ye old hat.
Yes,
Do you
yes.
remember those hats where they used to cut the beer cans out and then they would
Yes, the
crochet them
bucket hats
together?
that were the yep, yep. I actually had a Schmidt one and a Pabst one for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, knitted together. Yep.
Yeah, they would take the little squares and go around and then they would do the brim. It was
Yep,
super
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yep, yep, yep. Those are fun.
Super corny, but
You gotta
super
bring
cool.
those back.
Yeah, there you go.
It's been a while. Stuff gets around.
You could
It's a whole
update
new
them.
bunch
You
of
could put them on
people.
Pinterest. Yeah.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people that don't know that that's been a thing. A whole new group of shoppers out there.
They're post-pandemic shopping. I really want a Pabst crochet hat.
Yeah, there you go. Well, there's all kinds of things out there we can do it with now.
Well, you
You
could
know.
do it with really cool like local brewery beer,
Yeah. Well, they also,
like
but then there's
Lakefront
also
and stuff like
still
that.
canned teas. A lot of canned teas, like the Marley teas and
Oh
stuff like
yeah,
that.
hop
You
water.
know. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So those, you get those niche people going.
there you go. There you go.
And then Giving Fest, which is actually who's been putting on the Home Lights thing presentations. So since January 15th, they featured more than 100 events on the Hone Bridge with the colors. It's wrapping up with a big light show at 7 on Saturday. You can go down there and watch the light show and listen to the music on 88.9.
Oh, that's
So,
cool. Yeah,
yeah,
that's been really cool for the city, that, lighting of the Hone. I mean, if anybody's
yeah.
seen some of the pictures, they're really cool.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that. I think that's a cool thing,
Yeah.
very much so. And then there was a MoKE trail adventure. The reason I like that is because MoKE is a Greek word that means to do something with passion, with absolute devotion, with undivided attention.
So
And
when
it's
I'm sewing,
that's where you are. That's
oh,
where
when
you're
I'm
focused.
sewing, people can't, like, you don't even talk to me.
Do you have the tongue out? Because whenever I'm concentrating, I get the tongue going.
No, I don't, but
Get the tongue out.
you know it's going south when I start singing the Smurf song. For
That's
some
what,
reason, when stuff goes south, I start going la 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 la
that you're
la.
trying to go to a happy place with
Yeah, or
that.
something. I don't
Serenity
know.
now.
But yeah, anyway, back to
But
MoKE Trail Adventure.
that actually is at the Sino Conservatory in Burlington. It is a cost for this run because there is like a 369K. It is a sign up type thing.
Oh, okay,
So if
that's
you're into
cool.
running, that's a thing to run. And what's your pearls from of wisdom from a very, very good man?
Yes, yes. So we have to do our bubbles because pearls of wisdom deserve bubbles. So my pearl of wisdom for this week is, by and large, language is a tool for concealing the truth. And you can tell everybody who that's by.
George Carlin.
Yes, George
The seven
Carlin.
things you can't say that he got arrested here at Summerfest.
Yes, in
For.
Milwaukee. So a little fun fact. But I was thinking about the Republicans in particular, but, a lot of different groups, not just them, but they always use these euphemism words, and he's right. By and large, language is a tool for concealing the truth because, if, they're
spin.
yeah, it's spin. It's like talking points. And so, they don't call it anti-abortion. They call it, right to life.
Right.
And it's like, all right, nobody wants an abortion, but, back in the 70s when they finally got Roe v. Wade passed, it was like, they wanted it rare, they wanted it legal, and they wanted it safe. I don't see anything wrong with that. And the same thing with Planned Parenthood and, some of the stuff they do there. It's like, people are, oh, Planned Parenthood's killing babies. Do you know how many women they save through, screenings for, different STDs and for, well baby care and prenatal care for...
Remember that to me, the big sticking point on that is that the people that are telling you have to have this child are the same people that said we don't put people on the company dole and welfare.
Yeah, that's just it. So I mean,
no, we're going to give you the kid and not give you money to support it when you shouldn't have the kid. You shouldn't have it. We're going to still make you have the kid.
Right. And even like when we're talking about death, civilian deaths in war, they don't call them civilian deaths. They call them, what is it? It was on the tip of my tongue and now it's gone. It's collateral damage.
Casualties or collateral damage.
Collateral damage. And it's
public,
it's like they're not even human. It's like it's just collateral damage. Well, no, it's not damage. It's somebody lost their mother or their father or their son or their, their grandpa. It's not collateral damage.
Well, think about it. The woman that was up there ranting about the Davos voting machines and how they, whatever had, incorporated a virus in there to switch votes. That woman that was out there speaking all this. Now she's being sued. And what she said, well, no person in their right mind would have believed the stuff I was saying. That's more or less what her defense is.
Yeah. And that's the other thing.
Was so off the charts, nobody should have believed it.
Well, so it just, so be aware, and that ties back into the Facebook anti-vaxxer stuff. Language is a tool for concealing the truth. George Carlin was very prescient in a lot of what he said. And so, be aware out there, people. The truth is there. You just have to really look for it sometimes.
See, now that's an X-Files thing. The truth is out there.
I don't remember the X-Files. What was it? I can't.
The truth is out there.
Yeah, but I mean, the music.
Mulder and Scully. Oh, yeah.
You got to do the music.
Yeah.
Come on, do the music.
See,
I don't remember it exactly.
Anyway, yeah, no. Something like that.
Yep. So anyway, we'd like to thank our viewers and listeners: Dave's mom, my neighbor Pat, Shitesy, Marianne, Chrissy, anybody at work who's watching. Hey,
Toyota.
Of course, anybody else who's come across this randomly. If you like what you're hearing, tell two people. They'll tell two people. They'll tell two people, and exponentially, we'll get two more listeners.
Two more listeners. Yeah. Tell 100 to pick one up, I guess.
Yeah, and so then Dave and I look at that face. Look at that face. How can you not watch that face? Dave and I can become internet famous. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit .or.critical right here, or you can tweet me at Alexa MKE, and then we got MoKE Milwaukee Facebook page. Wait. We gotta show this shot. Oh my God. Do it again, Dave. Oh my God. Look at that face. Come on. Who doesn't love that face? So yeah. We love you, Milwaukee.
Laters.
Yeah. Stay safe. And yeah.
Yeah,
Dave's got a wave. Wave, Dave. Hey, Dave's waving. Hi. Bye, everybody.